Welcome, everybody. You're welcome to the virtual tour. Today is a surprise for you because you are going to see the pyramids inside. Okay, I will take you into the greatest pyramids of Egypt. Welcome to all of you from all over the world. Nice meeting you again. Well, I just wanted to make sure that you were hearing me clearly. Now I'm going to guide you to the pyramids of Egypt, and I will take you into the pyramids inside. First, I would like to introduce myself to you. First, my name is Khaled. I am an Egyptologist tour guide, guiding people to most of the sites of Egypt. Now, please, I'm going to take you to the Giza Plateau and to tell you an introduction about the pyramids first, and then I will take you inside. Okay? So the pyramids of Egypt were the royal tombs of the pharaohs of the Old Kingdom. You know that in the ancient Egyptian history, they used to build several tombs. And due to the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians, the pyramids were just the royal tombs. Of course, a lot of people will have a lot of strange and different theories about them. I will tell you about most of them later. But you have to know in general the idea of the Egyptologists about the Egyptian pyramids. Pyramids were just the royal tombs. You know that along the Egyptian civilization, tombs were developing from the beginning till the end. In the beginning of the Egyptian civilization, tombs were just normal graves underground, suffering from rains and animals. So they needed to protect them more. They began to put blocks of stones over the graves to hide them. And the blocks of stones were developed to be as a shape of mastaba. Mastaba in English is like a bench, is like a seat with no backrest. And the form of mastaba developed to be few mastabas, one upon one, and then the step pyramid, and then the full shape of pyramid. When you understand the word pyramid, you will understand a lot about the use of such constructions. Of course, those names were ancient Egyptian names, pyramid. In ancient Egyptian language, hieroglyphic, the word per, it means house, and Ra was the sun god, and Med, in the language of the ancient Egyptian, Med was a triangle. So if I want to say house of the sun god is a triangle, it's Per Ra Med. So this is the origin of the derivation of the English word pyramid. So in ancient Egypt, it was called Per Ra Med, which means house of Ra is a triangle. Ra was the sun god to the ancient Egyptians. And during the Greek period, they couldn't have pronounced it like the ancient Egyptians. They were hearing people in Egypt saying Per Ra Med. So the Greeks began to say pyramides, and then pyramid and pyramiden in modern languages, and pyramidto. So the derivation should be ancient Egyptian, and it means a lot because for them it was the house for the sun god. Look right here. I will take you, so this is the greatest pyramid, the big pyramid. Of course, when you know about the Egyptian civilization, you always hear about the greatest pyramid. And I preferred to take you first to the big pyramid of King Cheops, despite it's not the oldest, but it's the most important and the mysterious building in all of the world history. The greatest pyramid of King Cheops, which you call it Cheops, but this is by the Greeks. The ancient Egyptians called him Khufu. So this is the name in hieroglyphic. This entrance, for example, of the pyramid, this entrance was cut during medieval ages. It was not the real entrance. Okay, so the main entrance of the pyramid was above it, and this entrance in the north side. Look here to the blocks of stones. They are blocks. 2.3 million cubic meters of stones were used in building such a huge pyramid. Of course, there are a lot of theories about building it, but we have to speak about the evidences discovered. The main evidences discovered here, they last important discovery discovered at 2013. So just 10 years ago, they discovered a very important documents near Suez Canal in the Gulf of Suez. They discovered one of the old ports used by the ancient Egyptians, old harbors. And there they discovered a historical cave. And they found in this historical cave some of the documents left by one of the supervisors of the workers. The supervisor there was called Mirir. He was telling us that he was serving during the time of King Cheops, the builder of this pyramid. And he was cutting the stones for moving the stones to this pyramid, some of the needed stones, because some of the stones here are not of the local stones. The stone used in building this pyramid are limestone, the majority limestone, but they were using some other kinds of stones like granite. I will show you that clearly inside the tunnels. But here, we have to speak about the evidences. And this supervisor was telling us about the life of the workers there. And he was supplied by the Pharaoh, and he was sending the food and the beer and the tools to the workers who were working there to cut the stones. So those workers were not slaves at all, and they were appreciated very well by the Pharaoh Cheops, who ordered them to build this pyramid. So they were working very far, and they were transporting the stones to here. And this supervisor of the worker was telling us about his diaries and what they used to do every day. And among the interesting details found by the Egyptologists near the pyramids, so they discovered the old village of the workers. Over than 30,000 ruins of a house and huts left by the workers who were working, making this pyramid in particular. They found a lot of strata describing about the life of those workers. They found a lot of details, and they found the ruins of a hospital. They were treating the hard injuries. They were having spare limbs to treat the hard injuries. They were treating them well, and they found ovens, and they were breaking bread. Those workers were taking the enough food, and this was for their work, and for them it was national service. Look here to the tunnel. From this entrance we can see that there is a tunnel going up here and a tunnel going down. We are exactly here 10 meters on the height from the ground level. I prefer to take you first to the most mysterious tunnel in the bottom. So first we will go down to the bedrock. Look down here. You can see from this tunnel, there is a tunnel going up as a ventilation shaft. And this is a tunnel here going down. This tunnel going down, you are lucky, because you cannot see when you come this pyramid in real. Even if this pyramid is opened for the visitors with extra ticket, you cannot even go inside this tunnel. Look to this tunnel. It's very, very tiny, and it's going into the bedrock. You will see that it's not built. Look here, beginning from here, you will see that we are going on the bedrock. All of this distance in the bedrock down the pyramid itself. Look here. So we are going down the ground level, and it's hardly even breathing here. So when they go inside here, those tubes, by the way, for example, for getting the electricity, the source of electricity nowadays, to see inside, and to get oxygen inside. So when they work inside here, they are using tanks of oxygen because it's very deep. We are now here over than 100 meters below the ground level. I will take you into this room. Look down. So you can see the sand on the ground. And here you can see the cracks of the bedrock. And this tunnel here. So look, we reached the tomb or the burial chamber. This is supposed to be the real burial chamber. So you cannot see it in real because it's not allowed coming right here. And it's very important because you can see it's erected in a mountain. And you can see the tools here of working. And there is a sarcophagus supposed to be here, but it's broken. And you can see it's all erected in the bedrock, and the bedrock even down the pyramid is not of a good quality. So how come it would carry all of such heavy load? Look to this deep shaft. This deep shaft is still unexcavated, and it's very dangerous if we continue digging excavations here, because this is very soft rock and the moisture level would affect on this construction. So they did recently a project grounding the water surrounding the Giza plateau to avoid the destruction from the ground level and the water level. So here you can see this tunnel is interesting. There is another tunnel coming from the direction of the Great Sphinx, and it comes through this way. So it's just down here below this one. So the other tunnel coming through the direction of the Great Sphinx. I will show you the Great Sphinx later. And now we will go down, we'll go back through the same tunnel to go up again and to show you the other tunnel in the center, because there are more two tunnels beginning from the center. Look here to the carvings. It's shown that these were made with simple tools. So that was erected. So that's not polished. So we ascend up again over than 100 meters till going to the center of the pyramid. And from the center of the pyramid, we will have two branches tunnels. I will show you even both of them. So when King Cheops ordered to make this pyramid, he ordered to make it as a tomb, of course. So the concept of the ancient Egyptians as tombs, to build them as royal tombs. And he succeeded his father, King Senefru. So we are in the same point again up. So from here, we will go to the upper tunnel. This is the upper tunnel, which is open for the visitors if this tunnel is open. And we will go to the higher tunnel right here. In this higher tunnel, look up here. We will go up, and then there is two directions as well. So I will take you up, and then I will show you the two directions. So we will go to the center of the pyramid itself. Okay, now we are here 70 meters on the ground level, on top of the ground level. There are two tunnels. One tunnel is going direction here, and another tunnel up there. This tunnel here, we cannot consider it as a tunnel. It's built here. It's built of stone, and you'll see it clearly. Okay, so I will take you first to the lower tunnel, to the lower passage, this one. It's very tiny, by the way. You go here crawling on your knees. So it's very hard. You can see the precision of cutting the stone just to let you get into inside. Here it's granite to load the millions of tons of rocks. I will take you deep inside this tunnel, which is ending with a burial chamber. This burial chamber, we call it a burial chamber. Despite it, we found nothing. It's all empty. Okay. And this is called King Chamber. In this King Chamber, they did several tries to excavate. You can see hollows right here, and this space, and to this corner, because they found voids behind. And when they tried digging behind, they didn't reach any space. And they didn't reach the space, but they found that there is a void behind. But they cannot sacrifice and try destroying the pyramid. Look here. You can see the huge blocks, and the ceiling is pointed bottom, pointed top. It's just to lighten the stress on top. And each block of stone here of 70 tons of granite stone, each block. It's just to support the heavy load on top, to load millions of tons. Look to the precision of cutting the stone here. And that's a granite to load millions of tons of rocks on top. And you have to know that this granite stone, so now we'll go back through the tunnel to show you the king's vestibule. And this granite stone was brought from Aswan. Aswan is 900 kilometers south from here. So now it's a break for 1 minute, and you can look for the chat room. You can see and look for the links where you can donate for my virtual tours. I would be grateful for you to show you different other virtual tours, and you can look for more virtual tours when you click on the link on the chat room. And here you can find all of the links and all of the tools for with me. So when you look to the chat room, right? Next, you can see the rest of the tunnel right here. So we will go through the tunnel back to show you the higher tunnel to go up to the highest point of the king's vestibule in the pyramid. Okay. Look up here. So this is going as one direction to the king's vestibule and the grand gallery of the pyramid. You will be crawling right here again to go on knees, so it needs very strong ability. Look right here, beginning from here, what is strange is that the rocks tend to be black. And a lot of interesting things here. You can see the sarcophagus. It's a granite stone as well. And that's a black granite. It's supposed to be pink granite, but tend to be black. And the technology of breathing here, the technology of breathing is very simple. If they were using the same idea, like the tombs in the Valley of the Kings and all of the tunnels, they were using vessels of alabaster stone and putting oil candles inside. So it used to make more lights, and they were putting salts inside to absorb the carbon. And here it's turned to be black, and some of the people would have a lot of strange theories about this chamber because it's empty and no carving at all. So imagine the pharaoh who built all such a huge pyramid, he even didn't lift a cartouche here. They left only a little graffiti by the workers saying chaos. This is the only evidence about all of this king just inside all of such a huge pyramid. And now we'll go back through the tunnel to show you how tiny are they. And then going down, you can see how it's looking like from here. So it's very little. And the pharaoh who built it, King Cheops, he didn't leave any evidence. At that time, he was not allowing writing and documentation. Even the biggest statue and the only statue found for this pharaoh was just 7 centimeters of ivory, and it was discovered very far from here. So this pyramid will be always remaining a mystery. Now I will tell you about the mysterious things about the pyramids, because a lot of people would relate them to some of the strange series. One of the most mysterious things that the pyramids were aligned to the constellation of the Orion Belt, because the 3 pyramids were found in a special angle aligned with the constellation of the Orion Belt. And the big pyramid, it's here, its angle and its height 149 meters, its original height. Now we'll go back to the main entrance. 149 meters. If you put 90 to this number, so it's 149.9. If you put 9 zeros, it will be the distance between the sun to the earth. And in the same time, the pyramids here, their direction were aligned with the 4 natural directions of the earth. And its precision is more accurate than the compass. And it's very interesting how they did choose this angle and why this entrance is aligned to the north side. Because the ancient Egyptians were very smart in watching the stars. The ancient Egyptians were needed to watch the stars for surviving, because they needed to set a sign to know the time of the flood season. And because they were farmers originally, so the ancient Egyptians, they were astronomers watching the stars for a long time. When they were watching the stars, they wanted to make a sign to know the beginning of the calendar and the beginning of the flood season to the ancient Egyptians. They noticed the appearance of a very vivid star called the Sirius. It's appearing to this direction. So look, when we are here inside, it's appearing to this direction straight. So they decided to set the appearance of this star as a beginning of their calendar. And this star was appearing closer time to the time of the flood to the Egyptians. So the ancient Egyptians decided to set this star as a beginning of their calendar. It was 19th July, and the flood season will be 1 week earlier or later. So it will be closer time to the appearance of this star. So they needed to watch this star, and they began to count how many sunrise since the last appearance of this star to the next appearance, and it turned to be 365 days, and it was adding 1 day extra every 4 years. So they decided to take the beginning or the appearance of this star as a beginning of their calendar. So they decided to set it as the beginning of the ancient Egyptian year. Now you can see the pyramids from outside again here to show you about all of them. And the second pyramid for King Khafre. Khafre, his name in hieroglyphic is Khafra, and he was the son of King Cheops. As a matter of respect to his father, he decided not to build a big pyramid like his father. He decided to make his pyramid smaller. So this is a kind of respect, by the way. But the second pyramid of King Khafre or Khafra, it seemed to be that's higher or longer because it's built in higher level than the level of King Cheops or Khufu. So that's why it's shown much or a little bit bigger. Look here to the top of the second pyramid. You can see there is like a little crown on top. This little crown is not a crown, it was a part of the tiles. All of those pyramids were tiled with limestone because they wanted to hide the entrance. So they were polishing them with limestone from outside. So the entrance was not shown for the people. And this limestone tiles were destroyed along the history by several earthquakes, because we have some of the earthquakes happened along the history of Egypt. And the most prominent earthquake near Cairo was 1303 AD, so roughly 700 years ago, destroyed most of the weak construction, and among them was the tiles of the greatest pyramids. And you cannot see the broken blocks of the tiles because they were taken roughly 100 years ago, 150 years ago, while they were building the old palaces in modern Cairo. And sometimes it can be strange. Like 200 years ago, we had a ruler in Egypt called Muhammad Ali, and this ruler was building a dam in north from Egypt, and he was planning to take the blocks of the pyramids for building his dam. But his engineer advised him at that time to not to cut the pyramids and to cut the stones needed for building his dam from a nearby mountain, instead of transporting the blocks of the pyramids for a long distance. Look here, the satellite view to the pyramids to the west side. You can see the ruins of the village, and those houses were the hospitals and the houses of the supervisors of the workers, because this project at that time was national project, and all or most of the Egyptians were participating in building it, because in a season of the year in ancient Egypt, for roughly 4 months of the year, the land of Egypt was flooded. So during this season of the flood, the ancient Egyptians were already saving the food for themselves. So they were not making agriculture, they were already saving the food. So while they were saving their food, they were building in the temples, and they were serving their philosophy for the afterlife. by building pyramids or building temples to the pharaohs. So at that time, most of the ancient Egyptians were participating in building for the afterlife. And you can see here is the village. It's a very vast area. The huts of the workers is further than them. So to the west side here, they found the relics of the huts of the workers. And to this side directly, next to the two pyramids here, they found the hospitals and the schools and the houses of the big officials who were supervising on them and building the pyramids. Look here, how to build the pyramids itself. The technology used by the ancient Egyptians is very simple. You can see here is a green land. Next to this green land, the water of the flood used to come up to here even till the year 1970, till building the big dam in south of Egypt. So when you look to the old photo pictures of Egypt, you would see the water level was coming right here. So they used to transport the blocks of the stones up to here, and they were making a ramp of mud bricks. And it's just a few hundred meters. Roughly, the distance here is 300 to 400 meters. And they were pushing the stones using elephants and pulley devices and cows to reaching the top. And once they reached the top, they began to uncover it from up to down. So they were putting the tiles of limestone from up to down. And that is shown very clear in the third pyramid of King Mykerinus or Menkaura. And here you can see the complete building of the second or the big pyramid. Next, I will take you to one of the miracles of the Giza plateau, is the Great Sphinx of Giza, to tell you about the surroundings that's its used and construction. Because a big part is related to the big pyramid. Because the tunnel which I took you below, it's leading to the direction of the big pyramid. So you can see right here, this view of the statue next to the Great Sphinx, the Great Pyramids. This is the Great Sphinx. You can see the construction of the Great Sphinx right here. And it's erected in a mountain. It was a big rock next to the big pyramids. And this big rock was erected to take the form of a big sphinx. The sphinx is the shape of a body of lion and head of the pharaoh. The body of lion was always believed to be as a symbol of power. And the head of the pharaoh is a symbol of intelligent mind. The length of the sphinx is 70 meters. 70 meters, and the height is 22 meters. And of course, the history of this rock is older than the pyramids because it's originally the bedrock. And this bedrock is older, and there is erosion of the water. And this is what is making it interesting, because this erosion, when we counted the time of this erosion, it was saying 12,050 BC. So imagine, or 10,500 BC. So 12,500 years ago. How come it can be the history? At that time, there were no civilizations yet. But this is the history of the last flood here to reaching this height, because this is a higher level. And it was erected to have the form of the pharaoh Cheops, or Khephren, sorry, the builder of the second pyramid. And the only evidence about that is that we found a statue for this king in the Egyptian, it's now in the Egyptian museum. The only thing or evidence is just the similarity. But this statue in general, it doesn't have any writing to indicate to whom it should belong to. So we, or most of the Egyptologists, began to relate this statue to King Khephren or Khafra, the builder of the second pyramid. But we cannot assume that exactly, okay? So the geologists having different theories, saying that it was erected older than the era of the pyramid, and the first time to have a civilization and writings in Egypt, it was 5,000 or 5,200 years ago, because the beginning of the ancient Egyptian civilization was exactly 3,200 BC. So this is the only evidence. So it can be just during the era of building the greatest pyramids, not more. As for here, so I'll take you inside into this building, and this is the temple next to the Sphinx. And you have to know about other discoveries related to the Great Sphinx in Giza, that this Great Sphinx having a lot of tunnels. There is a little tunnel above the head, and this tunnel is very little, and it's ending, so it's closed. Another tunnel on the shoulder, and this tunnel is 2.5 meters. Another tunnel is below the front pole, and it's closed, and they reach the end of this tunnel, which is roughly 30 meters. The most mysterious tunnel here is the tunnel behind the tail. It's going to the direction of the big pyramid. And that's what gave some of the strange series to the function of those tunnels. A lot of people having a strange series relating that this tunnel may be to provide the building under the pyramid with water. And that's why a lot of people relating the pyramids with a strange series like generators for electricity. We have to know about the belief of why they believe in this, because those people always thinking that the pyramids were used more than being as tombs, not like the Egyptologists. So they think that maybe they were big generators. What is their explanation for that? They think that the ancient Egyptians were having those tunnels from below the Sphinx to the direction of the pyramid to fill them with water, and they would boil the water in boilers inside to make steam, or to get the steam, and the steam would make pressure. And the pressure, if it is in a closed place and controlled in a big building like the pyramid, it would make a pressure on the granite stone inside, because the granite is 60% is quartz. So it would give them the ability to generate a kind of energy like electricity. So this is the explanation of the strange series about the tunnels. But we have to think also about astronomers, because astronomers thinking that this tunnel may be as a running way to connect the burial chamber of the pyramid if there is any robbers attacking it, so they would go to the hill by making a deep shaft into the building. And it is ready, it can destroy anyone going inside. Because imagine if anyone trapped in such a deep shaft, he would be off or dying in short time. And the the direction also is telling a lot, because the north direction is more accurate, and this direction going from here to the main or the direction of the tunnel and the direction of the entrance directed straight to the north direction, and this is the direction of the North Pole. It's more accurate than the famous building of Meridian in London. So how did the ancient Egyptians know about such secrets? Because they were watching the stars for a long time. Astronomers recently made experiments. They went back with the time to the direction of the Sphinx and the head of the Sphinx. What is facing to the east? They looked for all of the phenomena along the history, and they went back 10,500 years BC. So before 12,500 years ago, they noticed that at that time, the big lion constellation appeared to the east, to the direction of the face of the Sphinx. So maybe the ancient Egyptians have watched it and decided to erect the Sphinx to this direction of the big lion constellation to the east. And that is strange. That is showing that the ancient Egyptians were very great astronomers and watching the stars carefully. And no one even nowadays would get such a skill to go or to know about these skills. Here you can see the temple next to the Great Sphinx. This temple is built of granite stone. It's having no carving at all. Look to the precision of putting the stones one upon one. We cannot have or make such precision easily nowadays. Imagine with all of such technology. This is very hard because what is making it a miracle that the granite stone, its hardness is 7, because we have a hardness meter to the materials and the stones in the nature. And the hardness of a granite is 7, and the hardness of iron is 5. So even the iron would not be suitable for cutting such a stone. So this is another miracle here to this construction. How did the ancient Egyptians were using to cut it? The only records about that they were using another kind of a stone called diorite. And this stone, its hardness is 9 due to the hardness meter. Nowadays, to cut the granite, we use just the blades of diamond because the hardness of diamond is 10. And nowadays, just the blades of diamond to cut such granite to make such a precision. And that is what is making it more mysterious. Next, I'm going to take you to another pyramid complex to tell you about the rest of pyramids of Egypt. And I will take you to the step pyramid of Saqqara. You can see this is older cemetery, and this cemetery is in south of Giza, and it was next to the capital because the capital of Egypt at that time was Memphis. This was the capital, and the builder of this pyramid is the most genius person in our history. The builder is called Imhotep. Imhotep. It's a very interesting name. It means the one who comes in peace. This is the first engineer in the world to build a big monument of a stone of 62 meters height and still remaining over than 4,900 years. So you can say 5,000 years, and it's recorded. So this person was most genius in the world, and his name is Imhotep. It means the one who comes in peace. Now it's just 1 minute. You can look for the chat room, and I'd be grateful for you if you look for my next virtual tours, and you can look for the links in the chat room. And here you can see the links in the chat room if you want to donate to my virtual tours to keep me going and to collect more data for you and to do other virtual tours. So I'd be grateful for you. You can look for the other virtual tours through worldvirtualtour.online. And the link for the donation to me, you can read right here, and you can find this. And if you look for real virtual tours with me in the future, you can look for www.luxortravels.com. So you can copy the link in the chat room to look for my virtual tours. Now here, I will take you to the greatest pyramid complex and the pyramid of King Zoser, to show you about these pyramids. And here you will see the oldest pyramid complex in the world. And this is the most interesting. Look here to this construction. It's built of limestone, and they were built by the famous engineer Imhotep. Okay. So you can see right here, they were doing imitation to the nature at that time. When they were building the columns, they were building them of limestone, and they were making the design like palm trees, because the ancient Egyptians were always doing imitation to the nature. And here you can see this is the vestibule leading to the court in front of the step pyramid. And next I will take you to the step pyramid itself to show you about it and its surroundings. And you can see right here the precision of such stones, and that's in the 3rd dynasty. Imagine roughly 2950 BC, and you can see here the courtyard of the step pyramid. This is the oldest building in general, built of stone in all of the world history, and still remaining so far. This is the step pyramid, and you can see each step There are 6 steps, by the way. Each step we call it mastaba. Mastaba each, so it's like a bench in English. It's like a seat with no backrest. And the step pyramid, or the step itself, it's like a tomb, and it's like a building to the sun god. So here, next I'm going to take you inside into the step pyramid to show you about it and to show you about the tunnels inside. Look right here. So I'll take you into the tunnels. And you can see the precision of the carvings, even here. First, I will show you the burial chamber from top, because all of the real burial chambers should be in the bedrock. And you can see how deep it is. So this is the bedrock below. It's, hey, look right here, 30 meters below the ground level. So imagine we are here in the ground level and that's 30 meters below. Of course, that's enough to load the millions of tons of the rocks on top, or at least hundreds of thousands of tons here. It's not big like the big pyramid of 139 meters so far, because the top of the big pyramid is already destroyed. And you can see the precision here. And the carvings, you can see that they were using normal tools. And the bedrock here is limestone. So look to the stones. Little columns in the middle here to support it. So that's all erected. And they were using the same technology of using the alabaster stone. Look nowadays to the restoration. They add iron bars, and it's just hardly enough to support it because it's very heavy. And imagine that the ancient Egyptians were using just the normal stones for supporting it. They were very smart because they were making everything with precision and with long time of designing inside. Now I will take you down to the burial chamber itself. Look right here. So this is the burial chamber. You can see different tunnels, most of them for deceiving the tomb's robbers, because the ancient Egyptians were having a lot of tricks to hide their treasury at the end of the pyramid. So in this pyramid in particular, there are hundreds of tunnels inside the mountain, hundreds of meters. So few tunnels, few entrances, but hundreds of meters of tunnels, or thousands of meters, until the burial chamber is just one tunnel leading to it. This is all of them for deceiving the tomb's robbers. So they are not real tunnels. They were all ending with traps or block the place. And they were making several traps. Look here to the main entrance. If you come, and this is open for the visitors nowadays, by the way, when you come to the visit the Giza pyramids, and I would suggest for you coming to here and visiting this pyramid, look to here to the blocks supporting the bedrock. I would suggest for you, so you will go into the burial chambers through here and look to the chambers in the bedrock. Those chambers were not opened. Look right here. You can see in the new material that they are all tunnels underground, hundreds of meters. Look right here, hundreds of meters ending here, some of them ending with nothing. And by the way, if you are alone, be sure that you can get lost here. You can see hundreds of tunnels, hundreds of meters. This is just for deceiving the tomb's robbers. Okay? So going back is right here. I was about even to get lost here. Look right here. You can see the burial chamber again. And you can see the big sarcophagus made of stone. Another guarantee even to keep the treasury inside here intact is to make a huge blocks of granite stone as a sarcophagus. And that's important for hiding them, because robbing a big tomb and a big pyramid like that, it would need a lot of people and they would take a long time to just do or trying to reach the secret of this pyramid. Next, I will take you to the great, on the first recorded pyramid in our history. and the most recorded and the most interesting in writings. The pyramid of King Unas in the same Giza plateau, in Saqqara, in south of Giza. There is a very important pyramid called Pyramid of Unas. Unas, this pharaoh, was the first pharaoh to record the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. This pharaoh, he was the first one to record the texts of the ancient Egyptians. He decided to collect all of the heritage, and he decided to save it for his people. So this pharaoh collected most of the details and the philosophy in one place. Now I will take you into this place to tell you about the philosophy of the ancient Egyptians at that time. This is the first recorded pyramid. The pyramid here is built in the 5th dynasty. In the 5th dynasty, this was the first dynasty to record the philosophy for the afterlife. Look to the tunnel of this pyramid. You can see this tunnel underground again, and the entrance of granite. It should be of granite to load too much blocks of stones, millions of tons on top. And here you can see the beginning of writings. This pharaoh recorded first his name in the entrance to his pyramid, and this is his name. When you see a frame like that, it means it's a name of a king. The name written here, Wanis. You can see a rabbit and N and letter E and letter S. This rabbit is pronounced win, and this is a confirmation, another N. This is like the water, and this is E and this is S. So when in Nis or Wanis. This is the name of this king. We call him Unas. This pharaoh was very important. He wrote the philosophy at that time. Look here. This pharaoh and the most religious city of Egypt at that time, it's here. This city was called Iono. Iono, it was a city of the sun, because the main god of Egypt at that time in Egypt was the sun god, God Ra. So the schools of this god and the education was in the city of Iono. And Iono nowadays disappeared because this city is in East Cairo, and people built their houses on top of this old city because there were already just some of the little ruins along the history were existing there. So time by time, people of Egypt began to build their houses on top. Look here to the burial chamber. This burial chamber is very interesting. You can see the big sarcophagus, first of granite stone, black granite, and there is a very big lid of a stone on top. It's also discovered empty. All of the pyramids of Egypt, 113 pyramids so far are recorded in Egypt. They were discovered empty of treasures. And in Sudan, which is having 220 pyramids, because Sudan was a part of the Egyptian civilization for a long time. They discovered in the Sudanese pyramids some of the little mummies and some of the treasures. And that's what's giving the mystery more to the Egyptian pyramids. Look to the precision of cutting this stone, the granite, and look to the ceiling. It's pointed top. It's pointed top to support the building on top. And you can see the ceiling here is the blue skies and yellow stars. Some people would see it like a starfish. Some people would see them like the stars themselves because they are made in blue color. And the ceiling is yellow, is blue. So they are a yellow color and blue. And here you can see the colors still remaining, and here you can see the writings on the walls. Look to such writings. What is written here? This is the first philosophy. Most of them, after translating them, they were very interesting writing. They were prayers wishing eternal life for the king, and the king would get supplies of thousands of jars of food, thousands of water, thousands of jars of water, thousands of beef meat, thousands of wine, thousands of jars of beer, and a lot of dedications to the king. And here you can see, on top of each cartouche, you can see the name of God Osiris, because due to the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians, that the deceased, if he was a pharaoh or any normal one, because that was for everyone, they would be combined with Osiris. Osiris, to the ancient Egyptians, he was a god for the afterlife. And this was the main aim and the main philosophy to the ancient Egyptians, to be combined with Ra. And the other writings, the dedications here, they were the origin of all of the 7 holy books used by the ancient Egyptians later, like in the tombs of the Valley of the Kings. So this is the origin, this is the beginning, it was here. And those writings were the first evidence. And a lot of them are prayers and praising to the sun god. Some prayers saying that we wish to get the ability of the invisible, powerful, mighty to help me in the afterlife, because the afterlife is a mystery, and I always believe in the invisible, mighty creator who created me and the others. I believe in the mighty invisible who helped me in understanding the world. I believe on the almighty, powerful invisible who will take me and guide me in the afterlife. I believe in the powerful and almighty person or invisible one who feeded me in my first life, and my people believing the same. We all believe in this philosophy. So this is the main philosophy written here. Some of the prayers and the praising to the sun god, to the ancient Egyptians. And here they were recording all of the walls. And this is the first documentation of the philosophy of the ancient Egyptians. Now you will be astonished when I show you this pyramid from outside. You will see that it is like just tiles of, look here to the tunnel. So this tunnel is the bedrock, and it's just the upper part here, it's built of granite to support the big load on top. Look here, when I take you outside, you will be astonished when you see that it is like piles of stones on top. This is a pyramid, and this is the entrance here, and you can see the tiles of granite stone from outside here were taken off by the people, and all of those entrances were filled with sand and debris, and it was a big and complete pyramid, of course, but not with the same size like the greatest pyramids, but it was the most recorded. And here this pyramid is looking like that from outside. You can see how it's looking like from outside, and it's for our very good luck that it was found not destroyed, because the carvings inside are on granite stone, and you can see the rocks outside. And here is the entrance, and here is another view. You can see how it's looking like from another corner. So the people already took the granite blocks for building their constructions and their houses during medieval ages, and they couldn't have even cut such granite easily. So they were mainly depending on the ruins of the old pyramids like this one as quarries for mining their stones or quarrying their stones. And you can see it's next to the step pyramid right here. So this is the step pyramid, it's next to it at Saqqara. Now, my dear friends, you can use the chat room for writing your question, and I'll give you the ability. So before writing your question, please, you can look for the chat room, and you can look for the links where you can donate for me. I'll be grateful for you for donating for me. I wish you enjoyed, wish you have enjoyed my tours, and I'm looking forward for your donation for my virtual tour to be able to give you more virtual tours in the future. I hope you enjoyed. Now you can write in the chat room, and here you can look for the link to donate for me and for the link to look for my next virtual tours. How was it? Great. Thanks, Mitchell. So I know so much because I'm an Egyptologist. I studied Egyptology for over than 8 years, and I have a master's degree in Egyptology. I have been working as a tour guide for over 18 years, or roughly 18 years so far, because 17 and a half years. And I wish you enjoyed. Yes, Marianne Watson, the pyramid, the step pyramid with the blue tiles. Yes. So please give me a break in the chat room. Give me a break in the chat room. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, because I want to answer for some of your questions. Okay, so first you can look for the links, please. If you want to donate for me, I would be grateful for you for donating for my virtual tours when you like it, and to keep me going on to make more virtual tours. Okay, so thank you for everyone. So now it's time for answering some of your questions. Okay, oval shaped. Why was the cartouche oval shaped? This is a good question from Mary Britting. Mary, this oval shape because the world for them is oval. The ancient Egyptians thought that the world was oval shaped image. So this is very important question. Okay, the ancient Egyptians thought that the wall and the pharaoh was a pharaoh for all over the world, and that was very interesting of them to make it as an oval shaped image, and that was very important. So this is a cartouche where they used to make it oval shaped image. Okay, so I look for more questions in the chat room because I would like to answer a lot of questions for you. So you can enjoy the view. Okay, from okay, here is from Robert Dowling. Must you enter these tombs, pyramids with guides, or can you enter on your own? A little dangerous, I think. No. You can enter alone, and there are guards inside. There are several guards, but you need to be fit only because of it's hard for you, and there are several pyramids to enter, and you can go inside. It's allowed in a lot of pyramids nowadays. The big pyramid is closed, and you can go to the second pyramid, and even those tunnels, if it is dangerous, they would not open it for the visitors. So when I took you to all of the tunnels today on the big pyramid, I took you even to the closed tunnels, which are all closed for everyone. And when you only enter one tunnel when you come to visit the pyramids, if it is opened. And be sure that the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities, they don't take any risk to feel or to make the tourist in danger or to open any dangerous tunnel. So you don't worry about that. The safety is the most important here. And if I feel there is a risk of 1% for you, I would not advise you as a guide to go inside. So you don't worry. Okay? So it's always safe. And that's why they are encouraging and making a lot of restoration to let you visit the pyramids easily and to do visit everywhere. Okay, from Ashras very directory inside the tunnels. Wow, it's like you are walking up and down and finding your way like a maze. You are welcome, and you see them too. Very interesting. From Marianne Watson, is a step pyramid. I saw few blue tiles. Were there more of them? Yes, thousands of blue tiles discovered of faience inside. It's like ceramic inside the step pyramid. Did they fall off the wall and stolen? Yes, and a lot of them were restored recently, and they were taken by the people during medieval ages. They found thousands of pieces from Bandit Queen. How did they crawl through such tight spaces without getting stuck? No problem. They took, there are some people are skilled in doing that, and they're crawling. Once they go inside, they can stand easily. Okay, from David Kish. Why was the last pyramid the only one with decorated walls? Because it was not the only one. It was the first one to be recorded. Because since that time, they decided to record their philosophy and their heritage. They decided to save their heritage by collecting all of the documentation, all of the needed stuff for them, all of the philosophy. So please now you can look more for the chat room to the links. So here you can see the link where you can donate for me, Khaled. This is my name, and where you can find my virtual tours with World Virtual Tours. And if you look for real virtual tours with me in Egypt, you can look for Luxor Travels. Now I'll give you the ability and the power to write in the chat room again, to look for more questions for you. Now you can write in the chat room again. Okay, there is a question from Linda. Who occupied Egypt before the Egyptians? First, the Egyptians are the people who lived on this land. And you cannot say who was occupied or Egypt. Egypt is a mixture of all of the Arab or African countries, because the origin of the Egyptians are the people called Kemetes, the people of Nilos. First people lived on Africa are the Nilos. The Nilos, okay, the Nilos, those people, and that's why they named this river the greatest river in our country, the Nile River. Those Nilos were the descendants of Noah, of which we would like to speak about the origins. The descendants of Prophet Noah, Mizraim, and that's why the Arabs called our country Mizr. Look here from Judy. So the first people, first occupation to our country by the Hyksos. This was the first occupation in the Egyptian history. The Hyksos are the people, those people roughly at 1750 BC. So roughly 700 years after the era of the pyramids, those people occupied Egypt. So those were the first people to occupy. But the Egyptians themselves are a mixture of African origin people called Nilos. And that's why the river Nile was called this word, Nilos. Okay, so now I will look for other questions in the chat room. From Judy, the distance from the Earth to and the Sun is 149.6 kilometers. Okay, the Egyptian didn't use kilometers. How come it is similar then? Okay, that's a very good question. The length they used by the ancient Egyptians was arm. Their arm was 64 centimeter. So when I am telling you the height of the pyramid itself 149 and the angles 149.6, this is perfect because nowadays we use the meter. Okay, so if I told you the measurement of the ancient Egyptians, you will get confused. So this is a distance. So if you added those zeros to this distance, it will come to you the precision, the same distance to the earth. So how come did the ancient Egyptians know it? Maybe because they were astronomers and they were counting from the stars. And don't forget that the first one to count the dimensions of the earth is also Egyptian. And modern time, that was during the Greek period. He was the director of the Library of Alexandria. And this person knows that because of the shade, and he knows that from the angels. He known and he noticed that the reflection of the sun rays in 21st June because of the summer solstice. He noticed that at that time of the year, the sun solstice in Aswan, when you stand in the afternoon at 12 o'clock in the city of Aswan, you will not have any shade. Your shade will be zero. But if you stand in Alexandria, your shade will be 0.7. So he counted the distance between Alexandria to Aswan. The length at that time was called the stadium. The ancient Egyptians were using the stadiums while we are using the kilometers. So he counted how many stadiums, and he noticed that the reflection of the angel in the same time. In Alexandria, the angel was 7. And the angel in Aswan was 0. And he counted this 7 by the distance 800 kilometer or 800 stadium. So he began to know that the dimension of the earth is depending on this. So this is the smart mathematics. And this is the ancient Egyptians. So imagine this is one of the descendants of the ancient Egyptians who know that. Okay. And how long did it take to cut the tunnels? All of the pyramids, Bandit Queen, all of the pyramids. And this big pyramid, the greatest pyramid of King Cheops, it took them some evidences saying 23 years, some evidences saying 30 years. So imagine all such a huge pyramid was built in such short time. And in one time, there were at least 30,000 were working every day, and all such long time in years. So it's a huge work. And this is not, there's just one tunnel is cut. And all of the rest of the tunnels, beginning from the center to the top, they are built. So cutting is maybe easier, because while building they were using the granite stone, and it took them some time to cut the granite itself. Do any Egyptians now still follow the old religion from Joli? No, Joli. No, the Egyptians nowadays don't follow the religion of the ancient Egyptians, but some people believing in the energy in some of the holy places left by the ancient Egyptians. I would make a religious and a spiritual tour for you to show you about the places of energy in ancient Egypt. But you support my virtual tour when you donate for my virtual tour to collect more data for you. So please, you can look for more virtual tours, and you can look for the links which I print for you right now in the chat room. So here you can look for my virtual tours and donating for me to keep going to make more virtual tours. So from Hannah Storton, thank you so much. This has been really interesting and enjoyable to watching from Yorkshire, England. Thanks too much, Hannah. Wish to see you and guide you in real, inshallah, in Egypt. Okay. From 19 every February from Almita Waites, our group journeyed to Kemet to perform ritual ceremony at sacred energy sites along the Nile. A high point was being able to spend the entire night of the full moon in the king's chamber. Oh, that's very good. Okay, so that's very good. I hope you enjoyed everything, and inshallah I'll show you, and I look for more question for you right here. So Tracy Castro, where the tunnels and chambers also aligned with the particular stars? Yes, they are all directed to the north side. So that's a very good question, Tracy. From Linda Molinaro, what did they do with sailboat that was found near the Great Pyramid? Those big boats near the pyramid, we call them the sun boats. Those sun boats, those were symbolic boats. The ancient Egyptians believed that they were going to do a journey in the afterlife, and they would need such boats to sail with in the afterlife. Okay, so they were not for carrying stones or so on. From Florence Alparish, did the Egyptians share pyramid building with Native Americans? Of course, this is strange. We cannot say that because the ancient Egyptians were not traveling, and the language in Egypt here is totally different. And of course, they were not communicating with Americans unless if there is a way to visit there or to communicate at that time. Okay. So this is of course not sure to know if they were communicating or not. But the Egyptian pyramids are massive, totally different from the American pyramids there. Okay, thanks. UT donated. Thanks too much indeed for you. Okay, I wish you all enjoyed. Okay, don't miss next virtual tour with me in 16 July, the tomb of Queen Nefertari. For the first time, I will show you Nefertari tomb. So I'm looking for your donation to keep going and to do my next virtual tours. And my next virtual tour, I would like to tell you, I'll speak for you, and I will show you for the first time a complete tour about Queen Nefertari and the lost golden city. This is the last greatest discovery in Egypt, the lost golden city. Okay, I'll tell you a lot of new things. So now you can look for more virtual tours, and it will be for the first time to analyze Nefertari tomb. And I have more ideas and data for you in the future. And I'm looking forward to see you, inshallah. Thanks everyone. Thanks for you. Wish to get your donation for keeping going, because I have already a very interesting and new data and a new interesting virtual tours. I keep doing that for a very long time to make you satisfied. So that will be very important for your donation for me to keep going to collect more interesting data for you. Wish you enjoyed everything, everybody. Does anyone have any more question? Wish I could have answered most of your questions. Okay. Thanks everyone. Thanks for attending. Thanks for your appreciation. I'll be always looking for your appreciation, and you can copy the links, please, here, how to reach me and how to look for other virtual tours. I still have a lot to tell you about and to show you about Egypt and the new data and new tours for everyone. Thanks too much indeed. Thanks for enjoying. I hope I was a part of your happiness tonight. So you will know a lot, Ashraf, when being with me in my virtual tour. And hope to see you in some future, inshallah. Everyone, okay? Have a good time, everybody.